Top 5 Dark Angels starting units. So if you want to start a Dark Angels army, especially if you're new to Warhammer, I've compiled 5 units that will help you get started. So I looked at different people's tier lists. I looked at different army lists of people who are doing very well on the competitive scene, and then a bunch of different YouTube videos to find units that were in almost every army and every list. So this is an all-inclusive, but I guarantee that you will use each one of these units if you get them. So Azrael, he's a powerful leader for the Dark Angels army, offering several key advantages. He can do a 4+ feel no pain against mortal wounds, including to the unit he's attached to. So what mortal wounds do is they typically bypass all normal defenses. So this gives them another opportunity, gives Azrael and the unit he's attached to another opportunity to have defense. And the 4+ is really good, so that's really good. The next point is he grants you an additional command point each round. So command points are crucial for stratagems, which give you like one-time boosts or one-time abilities. And so every round, typically, a player would only get one command point. But with Azrael on the board, you get 2 every single round, which is incredible. If you have more opportunities to use stratagems, uh, you have a great advantage. Azrael's ranged weapon is a strength 8 with a 4+ to hit against infantry. This makes him excellent for taking out smaller, more vulnerable units with ease. Um, and Azrael can also gives whatever unit he's attached to a 4+ invulnerable save, so making them more resilient to high armor penetration attacks. And we'll talk a little bit about a unit that's really good to attach with Azrael a little later. So the Deathwing Knights, these are one of the most iconic Dark Angels units. A lot of people see these, and they're the reason people want to start Dark Angels armies because they look so sick. And they are very durable with a toughness 5, a 2-up armor save, and a 4-up invulnerable save. The Knights are extremely hard to take down, especially with the 4 wounds. So if you're new to Warhammer, a save is essentially if someone's attacking you, you have a chance to defend. And so 2-up essentially means you roll a d6 for how many times you're getting hit. And every time there's a 2, 3, 4, 5, or 6, those hits just bounce off of you and they don't go through. Now, as you can see that on this data card right here, it has AP. That's called armor penetration. So when they're attacking you, they might have like a lot of armor penetration. So if they had 3, then your save would go from a 2-up to a 5-up, meaning only 5 and 6s would make the bullets bounce off. But an invulnerable save is nice because it says no matter what, the highest that they can go, no matter how much AP a weapon has, is 4+, which is really nice for durability. So moving on to the next point, like Azrael, the Deathwing Knights can also gain Feel No Pain 4+ once per round against mortal wounds, making them even harder to kill when facing enemies that specialize in mortal wounds. And lastly, they have an ability called Inner Circle, which reduces the amount of damage they take, subtracting 1 from the damage characteristic. Uh, this makes them even more resilient to high damage weapons. They're very tanky, and they're good to put on the midfield to hold objectives, and anybody that comes close to them doesn't last very long. Third, we got the Eradicator Squad. This is like your tank buster or monster buster unit. They're armed with melta rifles, which excel at doing just that. The re-rolling of the hit, wound, and damage rolls makes them more consistent, ensuring that they can deal reliable damage even against those tough targets. They're also defensive support. Eradicators are cheaper than many heavy support units, but they're still durable enough to hold objectives or take down high priority targets. Scout Squad. Every army benefits from cheap and flexible units that can secure objectives or support other units. In almost every Space Marine army I see, whether it's Dark Angels, Blood Angels, or any of the other ones, most of them have a Scout Squad. And here's why. The Scouts can move quickly, and with the strategic reserves, they can claim objectives that might otherwise be left open. Their ability to deploy early and seize key positions is crucial for controlling the board. The scouts can hold objectives or act as a buffer between your more expensive units and the enemy. They're also useful for performing certain actions. What I mean by that is when you play Warhammer, you have secondary missions, which aren't necessarily holding objectives, but they might be going across the board and doing something very specific. And scout squads, because of their maneuverability, are able to do those super well. So, lastly, are the inner circle companions, and these are the guys that you want to connect with Azrael. When paired with a character, inner circle companions subtract 1 from hit rolls against them, just making them harder to target. They also have offensive buffs, so when attacking an enemy character, they add 1 to hit rolls, making them more reliable in close combat. And they're pretty durable. Especially pairing them with Azrael makes both the companions and the attached character, Azrael, tough to remove, with damage reduction and increased durability. Azrael 4 plus invulnerable save and feel no pain 4 plus buff make the unit almost indestructible. So this isn't a unit. This is just something I wanted to talk about real quick. The combat patrol box. This doesn't have any of the units we previously talked about, but adding those units to this combat patrol box will get you just over 1,000 points. And the reason that's important is because that 1,000 points is where you can start playing standard Warhammer 40k games. You can just buy this box and play what's called the combat patrol against other people. It's just like the best way to describe it is just a simpler version of Warhammer. Great if you're new and still learning some of the basics. But we found when I was learning how to play Warhammer and still am learning how to play Warhammer that I wanted to move from combat patrol to the 1,000 points pretty quickly. So this will get you there. And in the box, there's a good mix of affordable units that help round out your army, provide flexibility. The regular intercessors are good for holding objectives and doing quick missions. The Blade Guard veterans are like your cheap, tanky characters. They're not incredibly tanky, but their point cost isn't super high, so they excel there. And the Captain and Gravis armor is very good at supporting different units in the army. So there's links in the description for all of these things, for all the things that we talked about today. If you're buying units like the Eradicator Squad, the Scout Squad, if you want specific like shoulder pads or helmets or Dark Angel specific things, you're going to need to get a Dark Angel upgrade kit, which I've linked. It's an Amazon link down below. I'd also suggest looking up on Etsy. People have like they call it third party. So people have made helmets, their own helmets and shoulder pads and backpacks and things like that are a little bit more decorative and really cool. So I suggest checking those out as well. All right, thank you for watching. Hope you have a great day.